Hey guys, it's James with Heel Toed. We're here today. I'm going to be taking the lowering springs, these Eibach lowering springs that I bought off of Craigslist. They came with some struts. I bought them when I had the 2008 WRX, was going to throw them on there. So today what we're going to do is pull the springs off of there. We're going to go ahead and lower the STI. So you can see here, we've got a pretty sizable, we've got like a 3-finger gap on this. Okay guys, so we'll go ahead and run through one of these, getting it on there, getting it all sorted out. So you're just going to take your spring compressor, get one end on. Would probably help if I turned them right side up. So we've got one side on there. Go ahead, take this one, get it on the other side. Now I think that'll be close enough, far enough apart. Seeing that. Okay, so those weren't far enough apart. Really, I need to get 3 coils away. Got the first one on there, and as you can see, it is disengaged from the top hat now. So I'm just going to come in here, pop that top off. Should be a 19mm nut on there. So I'll grab the rattle gun. Let's double check that that is a 19 on there. That is not. That is a 17. You grab the 17. 17, believe so. Now I am going to not be in front of that thing, just in case. That should be trying to come off. Go down on there deep enough. Need a 17-inch deep socket. I'll be right back. What you doing, baby girl?
Can I play the computer game upstairs?
Yeah, give me just a second. I'll come in and we'll do that. Okay. There we go. Just need a little coaxing there. Okay, so that does work. Get that off of there. So if you don't have a torque wrench, you are probably going to have to resort to putting the Allen nut in there. So to hold that still and then pulling everything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and loosen all this, take these off now. And actually, I'm going to go set up the computer for my daughter to play on. While I'm doing this, I'll be right back, guys. Let's take these off of here. Now that we've got all of this off, and this can all go back on this one. And I didn't bother marking anything because I'm not going to use this. We'll go over all the marking up everything on the next when we do the next one, when we do the ones on the actual car. All right, guys, quick update. Got all the lowering springs off. You can see them over there. I left them kind of matched up with the strut they came off of. I don't think that matters, but I'm going to try and get left and right matched up when we put them on the car. So it is time. I'm going to pull the car in. Go ahead, get it up on jack stands, and we'll start pulling apart all the struts and springs on that end. I will jump back in once I have it up in the air, wheels off, and I'll show you the parts that you've got to unbolt to get the struts and springs off of the actual car. And then we'll jump back into a time lapse on removing the springs till we get to the point of putting them back on. So in the time lapse, I'm sure you saw me messing around with these jack stands over here. I bought those. They were on sale at Sears. They look like they had the right top part to go ahead and get under there and not mess up the pinch welds, which was something I was kind of worried about with these other ones that I have are not as concave on the bottom half. And so they kind of get on the pinch welds a little bit. So I wanted to try and get all four corners of the car up in the air. That's not going to happen because my jack won't bring the car up high enough for, even on the lowest setting, those high lift jack stands to get under there. So I've got to take those back. So we're just doing one wheel at a time. I went ahead, got the driver's side off. Now you can see in here, you should be able to see, you've got the ABS and the brake line, and then you've got two bolts here, top and bottom. And then you've got the three here. 1, 2, and 3 right there. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I can get enough light in here for you guys to see everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and mark this bolt. That's your top bolt, is your camber bolt. So you want to make sure you mark that so you can get it roughly back in the same spot so that you're not driving with completely screwed up camber when you take it to go get it aligned. You should get it aligned as soon as you can after you're done doing anything like this, so that everything is back like it's supposed to be, nice and square. So I'll go ahead and start pulling all that off. Those should be like 17s, I believe, for the camber, and the one below that that connects it to the knuckle. And then these side ones are like a 10, I think. So we'll get in there. I'll try and get a light in there so you guys can kind of see what's going on. I'm not sure how well that's going to work. I've got this one here that's like a magnet, but, well, that may work. I'll jump in there, get that mounted, some kind of light, get the camera mounted up on a time lapse, and we'll start tearing it down. So the fronts are done. It will need an alignment again because it's hard to be real precise with those camber bolts. Got as close as I could. They should be fine to drive on for a day at the most. Actually, they're probably good to ride on for more than a day. But you can see we've got a nice gap now as opposed to the gap that we had before. So, I mean, it's 2 fingers if I go in at an angle. I mean, it's a 1 finger gap. These look really good. I'm really happy with them. Got the back end up. then first wheel off, and then went ahead and pulled the cover out of the back here. Also need to go ahead and take this out without exploding stuff into my face. So also need to go ahead and take this out, and then we'll pop this access panel cover here, and that should give us enough room to get a wrench in there. So we'll pop those out real quick. So down here it's just 3 bolts. You got one from the knuckle, one for the spring and shock assembly, and then one for the sway bar. So just pop those 3 off, drop the spring out, take the spring off just like with the others. We'll mark it up, compress it, pull the spring out, and then we'll put it back in. Then we'll switch over to do the other side. And then for these, they do need to be underweight when you put the when you torque these back down. So we'll just make sure we get something under there, probably a jack or something. I'll lift this up higher, get the jack from the back end out, and go ahead and pop them up, get some weight on them, and then torque them down, because there's no way I'm going to be able to get under there when it's time. Once the wheels are on and I get it lowered, I don't even know if I'll be able to back up onto the ramp. I may check that out, try and backing up onto the ramp, but I don't think I'll have the clearance. Alright guys, we are done with the install on the Eibach lowering springs. I'm going to take a look. The car looks and sits a lot lower now. I do need to take it out to get an alignment. I'm also going to take it over there, get the alignment, get it test driven, and I'll do an in-car review of how I feel like the springs do. I really love the look of them. You know, we used to have a 3-finger gap. I mean, this was way up here. I mean, we can get 2 in there if we angle it. It's like a 1-finger gap at this point, so I think they look really good. I don't see what everybody talks about with the saggy rear end where the back sits low if you've got the wrong Eibach springs on there. So that looks good. The front looks really good. The next thing I need to get for this thing is the front lip, rear diffusers, and maybe some side skirt extenders just to flush out that bottom. I'd like to go all black. I think the black would look really good with this Subaru Pearl White. Also, those chrome pieces that say STI, I want to get rid of those. They've got some JDM black ones that I think would look really cool. Hey, what's going on, guys? Just got back from getting the alignment done, so I thought I'd do just an overview of what we did, how easy or hard I feel like it was, and how the car feels now. So on the way to the alignment shop, I could already tell the car feels a little stiffer. I mean, it's not an incredible, it's not like going to some really extreme race coilovers or something, so it's not a situation where I wouldn't want to daily drive the car the way it is, but it does feel a lot stiffer, and even through the corners I feel like it just holds itself a little better. There's less body roll. Favorite part of leaving the house. I don't know if you guys could tell, I haven't played back the footage yet, but the nuts and bolts for the knuckle and for the strut on the back those were rusted on. They were insane. PB blaster, heat, impact wrench. Ultimately what got it was driving it forwards and backwards a little bit at a time with the impact wrench, just to get it to cut up, break loose, knock out some of that rust. But after that, the backs were actually a lot easier to get than the fronts. The springs on the back go on without, the new lowering springs go on without having to compress it. And overall, you know, just getting 2 bolt holes instead of the 3 lined up was really easy. You could get it kind of loosely mounted onto the lower control arm. You could get the spring loosely mounted, the shock loosely mounted on there, and then it pops right into place. absolutely love this. I wish I had gotten the time to do it sooner. I wish I had gotten the time before my last car was wrecked, and I would have done this to the last car as well. It just, when you're walking up on it, it's so much nicer to just see it. It's got a little bit of squat to it. It's a little lower, and it feels great. All right, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next time.